city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashrothi, and it is February 16th, YC125, and this is the Eve Universe Show. Welcome, 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 everybody. It is the Eve Universe Show. I'm muted. I'm not muted anymore. Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is February 16th, YC125, and I am exhausted. And by that, I mean it is the Eve Universe Show. We are here live on this Thursday. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody. I wasn't muted. Okay, well, fine. I want to set the tone early. Keep our expectations low. It's gonna be one of those days, guys. It's gonna be one of those days. Just to make sure we all have it understood, okay? So last weekend, obviously, you know, like, well, my son's mom came over to visit again, so they got to spend time together, and that was good. But then on Monday, he started throwing up, which meant not only did he have to stay home on Monday, but he also had to stay home on Tuesday, so I couldn't stream on Tuesday. And my son has also been alternating between, like, not wanting to wake up in the morning for school at all, and wanting to wake up, apparently, this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, so we could play some Roblox before school. So, I already went to bed a little bit late because I'm a bad person. Not totally late, like 12:30, right? Midnight, 1 o'clock, whatever. But still, I woke up at like 4 o'clock after that, after everything going on this last week. And let me tell you guys, I'm just beat. But we have so much to talk about. I couldn't not, especially since I keep missing my Tuesdays, thanks to everything going on. So here we are, and we have things to discuss. And then I will be back tomorrow for another big show where we'll have one of the bigger topics. But I don't want to wrestle with anything. Like, I had plans, but a level of coherence today is disrupted. So take pity. Throw a like onto the stream if you can, and we are going to jump into it. Thankfully today, we've got, why not the #1 space? Man, my son thinks that Eve is so lame. I can't. I've tried. I've been like, but there's explosions, right? Like, he has to wait for the explosion to happen. It's just, I can't. He's not there yet. Deja vu. I know, I'm always making excuses as to why I can't, why I'm tired. You started 3 days ago. What's happening? Oh, a lot of things. How old is he? He's 9, and he has mild autism. So, we direct him where we can. But yeah, complex things with, like, delayed gratification is something that is very difficult to get him to key in on. However, we did pretend to eat Korean barbecue all morning in Roblox, so I'm not 100% sure what motivates that kid, but it's fun to play with him. It's fun to spend time with him either way. Any rate, okay, so like I said, I don't have too much coherence today. My virus coherence is low. However, thankfully, we have a lot to go over, and I have, like, basically we just have patch notes and stuff to walk through. So we're going to do that. By the way, if anybody ever wants to play, like, Roblox or Among Us or anything like that with my son, hit me up in Discord. He really wants to play with other people too. Or if you've got kids that want to do, like, Minecraft or Roblox or anything like that, or like I said, Among Us, it'd be cool to get that situated. Bulgogi. All right. Before we launch into the full patch notes, let's drill in on the big headline feature from Tuesday. Tuesday, we got a pretty significant patch. Actually, hold on a second. La 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 la. I just realized there's another. Wasn't there a, or was it this one? Was it just this? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, never mind. Okay. Let us start with the dev blog. The Photon UI is here. We've been dancing around this thing for a few months. A couple weeks ago, they warned us that on Valentine's Day, the old UI would be phased out, and now the Photon UI is not just the default, but it is the only. You cannot opt in to the or opt out of it or go to the old system or anything like that. This is one of those adapt or die situations. But what I find really interesting about this UI update has been, as I'm like kind of trolling around the internet to look for what's going on, EVE Online has this really strong change is bad kind of reaction to things. Very much old timer, back in my day, get off my lawn, change, you know, like I don't like things to change kind of mentality, kind of is one of the through lines within the EVE community. However, I have never seen a more positive response to an EVE Online UI change than with Photon. In fact, I would argue that I don't know if I've ever seen a positive a response to a UI change in EVE at all prior to the Photon UI. And I've seen things like new players being like, man, I can't believe how clear the UI is in this game. And I'm just like, you what, mate? Like, sure. But I will say that, like, having used the Photon UI for quite some time, it is, in my opinion, superior. It has a couple of features that are very, very valuable. And a couple of things that you might need to know in order to get the most out of it. Okay? So, first things first, as it was pointed out, the Photon UI broke all of the bots. So just remember, if anybody's on the internet complaining that they refuse, if the Photon UI is the reason why they're quitting the game, like, oh my God. Look, I've seen all kinds of different reasons for people quitting the game, okay? I've had plenty of people say, oh yeah, $20 a month is too much. I've had people saying the industry's broken, PvP's broken, whatever. But in my opinion, the dumbest reason is minor UI. Like, I had a guy that was like, oh, the skill UI is changed. I'm not going to play the game until the skill UI is better. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, can you imagine, like, the mechanics of the game is good, the matching is good, the economy is balanced, the graphics are amazing, but the skill UI is terrible, and so you don't play? I'm not saying that all of those things are true about EVE, but I'm just saying, like, if you stop at a single UI window and I'm like, this is going to make it so I don't play this game anymore. Do you know how many AAA games I would not have ever played if I let a single bad UI window make it so I didn't want to play it? That's nonsense. But I digress. Anyone who complains or who says that the Photon UI is so unusable that they're unwilling to play the game when they were willing to play it before, I challenge them to prove that they're not botting, because it is true that the Photon UI has messed up a lot of the bots and all that stuff. And man, I can't think of a better reason or another legitimate reason to make this the hill that you die on, right? Can you imagine the guy that like went through the industry changes and was like, this is fine. Went through the mining changes, was like, this is fine. Went through Doctor Who and was like, you know what, this adapt or die. And then like Photon UI comes out and they're like, wait, there's dots on my UI. Like I don't see that happening. Now, that being said, they'll be back. You're implying that they ever left. All right. That being said, I do want a couple pieces of advice for people. Okay, we're gonna walk through this dev blog, but before I even do that, I want to jump into this and show you a couple things. Okay, first and foremost, the first thing you're going to want to do is go into your escape menu. Okay. Actually, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go into OBS and turn the browser window off of your shown sources so that way everybody can see the game. Because I know everybody else is also streaming their client while they're first, trying to do this. So I'm just trying to, make sure that everyone's included in my instructions. Anyway, so in the escape menu, in the top right corner is the more important area for the general settings. So first of all, in general settings, before you do anything else, you're going to want to go into this right column under in-flight, turn open radial menu with, and change it from the left mouse button probably to the right mouse button. I have a video called Don't Be Bad, use the radial menu. It's got more information about it. Just learn to use it. Anyway, but the new stuff today is in this upper right-hand corner, the window appearance area, okay? So we need the transparency in both normal and light mode turned down. I like to turn it like 1/5 of the way towards off, right? Or 4/5 of the way towards off to make it so that it's not very transparent. And you want to come here to window margin size and change this to compact. And you want to check this checkbox that says enable compact mode by default. And then return to the game. Now, everything should be more compact now. See, like, check this out. If I go, I can't even change it to compact, out of compact now because of the checkbox. But if I uncheckbox it and return to the game, I can go here and say, maybe I can't. Huh. How do I even make it? Am I missing something? Use a different window? Yeah. I think it's new windows that are the problem, right? So, yeah, that's what it is. The existing windows don't change. So, look, I can go from here. You can see these big margins everywhere. If I enter into compact mode, boom, everything's nice and tight again. So it looks very much like the older UI with not a lot of margins, right? Now, if I disable compact mode, it comes back like this. But if I close this, go into escape menu, click enable compact mode by default, return, go here. Now look, it's compact mode by default. And I can disable it and enable it. Haha, see? Real cool. Okay. So that's how to make Photon work for you. Let's talk about the Photon dev blog. Local doesn't have compact. Okay. I chose the one window. I thought I used to. I'm not using compact mode for most things. Monoboxing gives me screen space to spare. I mean, yeah, if you don't want to compact mode it, you don't have to, by all means. I'm just saying, like, to the people that complain, the number one thing is like, hey, try compact mode. It probably will fix like 90% of your problems. No M3 in compact inventory? No, they fixed that. Look, I'm in compact mode. Oh, no M3 at the top. Huh. Yep, that's odd. Well, that's not awesome. I'd like it better if it still did that. That's true. Oh well. I do know that they didn't have the estimated value down there at one point, so hopefully they fix that. The inventory is the one window that I immediately uncompact. Yeah, I mean, yes, I would argue that given the current circumstances, you'd have that uncompacted. I know that for a while they used to not have the estimated, so I had it uncompacted. I hadn't noticed that they didn't do the M3. But, yeah, go ahead and compact and uncompact as your leisure. You can also change font sizes and other kind of things in order to make things as cool as you can. And you can be bummed out that something is different, but just, like, don't threaten to quit the game over it. That's kind of silly. Put two lateral sliders in the same line with no separator. Hold on. I do agree that there are some black on black error issues, especially when it comes to the headers. What are you talking about? Two lateral sliders. I don't understand. Oh. These ones? Because it's been that way for a long time. Used to be on top of each other. Huh. That must have been a long time ago. You know what I'll be honest with you though. No, you haven't missed anything. You know what I like about this one though? Because I switch between minimum range, maximum angle, and maximum range, minimum angle. So I actually like the fact that they're right next to each other because then I can go boom, boom, and change it real quick. And likewise, I can go to the two edges and change it like that. I don't know why, like, that just makes it, like, I've noted in my brain that makes it easier for me because, like, I just collapse in. I go click, click. And then I'm able to do my D-scans. But I can understand why it could be frustrating. Need better theme colors, though? Dude, you can set those over here. Nice to meet you, Mark. I hate a color like... Oh, man. Yeah, like... There's somebody that's complaining about the black on black scroll bar or whatever, and I'm like, but mine's teal. I don't understand. What are you talking about? I like UI customization. However, I like to see the default templates for new pilots to make their lives easier. I do find it interesting that, like, some of these things... I've always thought that some of the defaults in Eve are not great, but... You know, whatever. They're getting better. All right, let's look at the dev blog, guys. Attention, Capsuleers. EVE Online continues to evolve and invest in the day-to-day experience of its players and the technological foundations to stay on course for a successful third decade into New Eden. This now includes the full rollout of the sparkling new Photon UI as well as improvements to the multiple overview feature. Didn't mention this earlier, but in my opinion, this is my opinion, which is of course the most important opinion here. Whatever nitpicks you have about the Photon UI pales in comparison to the value of multiple overviews. Just plain and simple. And if you don't believe me, then you aren't playing this game right. I don't think. All right. Maybe you're an industrialist. Anyway, so as well as improvements to the multiple overview features, to Tranquility server hardware upgrades, and more. Also evolving are the fortunes of New Eden's great empires and EVE Online's events, moving more purposefully towards a narrative-driven schedule instead of the previously established annual calendar of in-game events. This will be informed by the roadmap for upcoming happenings in EVE, first introduced in the producer's letter. EVE's user interface has evolved in collaboration with the EVE community, and in anticipation of the full rollout of Photon UI is here, with an overwhelming 94% adoption among players of the awesome Photon UI, which offers a better experience for EVE players. The time was right to make it the default and only UI available. I'm an industrialist and live mining. Hey, man, my mining setup definitely uses multiple overviews. A single unified design style streamlines usability, improves learning, and reduces cognitive overload. Removing the old UI will enable... I agree with their statement, okay? A single unified design style streamlines usability, improves learning, and reduces cognitive overload. I understand and agree with that statement out of context. However, I would really like somebody from CCP to explain to me what changes within the Photon UI as they are right now reduces cognitive overload. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, very little other new information is presented to the user in a knowledgeable or meaningful or digestible way that wasn't there before. Like, I agree that the Photon UI is better, but it's not better by type. It's just better by style, if anything, by its flexibility. I think that the good like the idea that the M3 isn't shown, great. So we have one good example of how it actually increases cognitive overload, because now you need to be able to do the math to figure out the M3 or switch things back and forth in order to suss it out or whatever. So hopefully that gets fixed. But my point is that, like, I need somebody to explain to me how it helps see the info better. It's the extra white space. I guess that's true. Like, a really crowded, packed UI with a bunch of stuff in it can be very cluttered and be very difficult for somebody who doesn't know what they're looking at exactly to interpret. So the more packed in everything is, the more cognitive strain there is in interpreting it. So perhaps I, as an experienced pilot that's been looking at these things for years, don't notice that. Whereas a person who may not understand what everything means will look at the UI and see everything all packed in with each other and just be like, oh, it's basically noise. So I could see that. I can see that. That's a real thing. There will also be opportunities for new and cool features, such as micro widgets, to be implemented that will have been impossible with the old code. Give me micro widgets. Holy shit. Had they have rolled out micro widgets at the same time as Photon UI, we would have had even less excuse. But because, my God, all I want now is the locations in space micro widget. Like, all the rest of the micro widgets are fine. The local one's pretty cool. But the location one, the bookmark one with the drop down button list and the button, I need that. I need that in my life. Man, you think that that's bad? I couldn't get back into tech patrol school because I didn't know how to navigate the autopilot. Yeah. What are micro widgets? First time I've heard of that term. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Because somebody made a really good picture of it, or put up a picture of it the other day while everybody's talking about this. Hold on. Yeah. So these are the micro widgets. These are the examples that they showed. So these are like, basically, rather than having the entire window up, you can just have this one bar. So like the locations one, for example. Like, you could select one of your saved locations from a drop-down window and then just hit warp when it's time. Your inventory shows you how much inventory is left. Your your local chat tells you how much of each type of person is in it without actually taking up any extra space. The drones window, the probe scanner window, etc. Even your directional scanner window. I'm not 100% sure how the directional scanner window works out, but you know. The directional scanners at the bottom. Sorry. Would these be customizable? Are they pre-made? I think that they're supposed to be pre-made. But yeah, this was just one of the things that they showed off to kind of be like a suggestion of what they're going to be doing. But like, I need that locations one in my life like now. Yeah, I agree. It rules. And like some people are like, well, but what if you need to look at all of local? Well, you can have the widget up, and then if you need all of local, then you pull that up, right? Like when you're looking at these things, it's not like these completely replace the normal UI. These just allow, like you could have a stack of these in a corner to check out all your normal stuff and then pull things up open when you need to have more information. Yeah, well, I mean, like, so for right now, you can go to like basically any window in Eve, right? And if you double click on the top, it'll wind shade them. It'll make a little Windows shading of them, and that's fine. But like, it's still like it doesn't give you any extra information. You know, if I pull up my bookmarks area and I go like this, like, you know, it doesn't do anything per se. I can't use this window without opening it back up. So this is the improvement. I hope that this is just if nothing else, like they could just make it so that when it shades into the compact mode or the super compact, the micro widget, whatever. Yeah, at least you'll be able to tell if there's a war targeting system, and it'll stand out a lot more, right? Because it shows how many of each. Any rate. Okay, so moving right along. Today's update will also allow you to toggle the default state of all compact windows with a single checkbox, making it much easier to turn on compact mode in Photon UI by default for all windows that have that functionality. I need to make a video that's really tight, that's just all of the changes that I recommend you do to your basic settings before you begin the game, right? Change your D-scan window, change your change your D-scan hotkey, change your radial hotkey, change your screen shake, compact mode, you know, all those kinds of things that like I always recommend to everybody before they begin basically doing anything else. In addition, the multiple overview feature has come out of beta and is now standard with the maximum number of overview tabs increased. So, by the way, guys, if you did have your multiple overviews set up, I did have my video come out last week, I think it was, about the overview. You can go check it out. It's still up to date because I happened to do it right before this happened, and so I had the multiple overviews and all that stuff on there. Everything's perfectly fine for that. However, what was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah. If you already did have your multiple tabs set up, I've noticed that they were all rearranged when I logged in. Not that the tabs were wrong. They were all set correctly to like their filters and everything, but they're in the wrong spots, right? Like I had one overview that was like 4 tabs, one overview that was 1 tab, and then one overview that was 1 tab right above it. Well, those 3 windows were all in the same places, but what tabs were in which spots was the part that got rearranged. So all I had to do is like move some here, move some there, and then it like worked again. I know that there's some people that have said that they've completely reset. You can back up and attempt to restore your settings from the launcher, but I honestly think that this is a good opportunity to go back through and watch my overview video and finally, once and for all, set up your overview the way that you want it to be instead of relying on whatever overview somebody's linked you in the past. Radial menu on right click is your jam. Yes, it is so good. Wait, there's hotkeys that are not autopilot? Yeah. Speaking of shorts, I do have a short video that I came out with yesterday or last week or 2 days ago. Time means nothing anymore. There's an announcement by the Federation, and I got a good friend of mine, well, not a good friend, but a friend of the shows, the Sorry in Advance people over at the Beaver Show. The lady Dame came in and offered some voice acting. We'll do that in just a minute. Further changes to Photon UI includes your wallet balance now being added to the market window, updates to docking and docking, animation notification, tweaks to item selection highlighting, and more. All right. Also, as part of the EVE Evolve initiative, the Tranquility Live server has undergone some hardware upgrades, adding to the ongoing evolution. EVE's established calendar of events is also in process of evolution, sparked by last year's Uprising expansion, major step towards regular narrative-driven content updates. As forces gather, tensions mount, and events unfold within New Eden between the four great empires. The exciting roadmap for EVE has a series of thrilling in-game events lined up for you to get sucked into, having already gotten off to a strong start in 2023. You can also look forward to more new features, expansions, and huge celebrations throughout the year, including what promises to be an amazing 20th anniversary of EVE Online. And we have this picture here, which is from before, where we see Q1 2023, which is what we're in right now. We're still missing Direct Enlistment and the ARC campaign, but we have the other two, which is the EVE Excel beta and the new Photon stuff has now been delivered. Keep your eyes to the stars, as very soon a new narrative ARC-related faction campaign will go live in-game, plating Amar, Mimitar, Caldari, and Gallente against each other in a tech race that will have seismic implications on the landscape of New Eden. If you guys are interested in more about that, one of my latest videos was on the Shadow War, which is this event, and what we know about it. It is now patched into the live server, so they can make this go live any day, guys. This will set the tone for the year in EVE, where some of the events that you've come to expect at certain times of the year will be replaced by ARC-focused events. But don't worry, instead of attending the Guardians Gala, the Angel Cartel have a more pressing matters to attend to. Their shift in focus will play out soon enough. So, we are not getting the Guardians Gala this week, or this year. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Valentine's Day has come and gone. There's no Guardians Gala. That means that there's just, and this confirms that there's not going to be a Guardians Gala. That's fine. Whatever. I'm glad that they told us. I actually thought it was a bit odd last year when we had a live event and a faction campaign going on at the same time. I felt like that kind of diluted the focus a bit. So I think that having the faction campaign be front and center and be the thing that people are being directed to do during that time, I think is really critical. And so I as much as I bemoan and are sad by not having Guardians Gala this year, I think that having the faction campaign be as big of a deal as they can be is a big deal. Is really important. I wish they'd talk more about the Jovians. I don't know, tell you, man. They talk about Jovians all the time. You just might not recognize it. Yeah, great time to hop back into the pilot seat. Yes, that is true. And in fact, I have made a video called Returning to EVE. Watch this first, which goes over a lot of the major changes that have happened recently, as well as other guides and everything to help people new and old check out the game. Singularity of vision. In preparation for the upcoming events, as indicated by the roadmap, you'll soon be able to check out the new direct enlistment feature on Singularity test server. This will allow capsuleers to participate in faction warfare on behalf of any empire that they choose without having to leave their current corporation or alliance to join the militia. We've talked at length about what this might mean, how it could be implemented, but we really just don't know at this point. So we'll have to see when we get the details. It'll roll out later this quarter, which is like basically next month. From Divine to the meticulous EVE store offers with so much. There's a brand new Divinity pack in the EVE store featuring 1 month of Omega, 250 Plex, 150,000 skill points, And the stunning Heart Surge for the Carries Hyena men's and women's opaque or obsidian obsolescence jacket. And there is the Heart Shape Pact, which offers even more opportunities. It's got a multi-character transfer, 1,000 plex, 500,000 skill points, a specialist cerebral accelerator, and the Heart Surge skin for the Kronos, Vargur, Phobos, and Broadsword, and the Opulence jackets and pants. In addition to that, there are now offers on the New Eden store for a bundle for all of the destroyers for the Heart Surge skins, the Catalyst Navy issue. Sorry, of all of the 4 new Navy destroyers, Catalyst Navy, Courser Navy, Cormorant Navy, and Thrasher Fleet. Let me tell you, bright pink ship skins for the brand new faction destroyers. I have never spent 350 plex faster and with less regrets than in that moment. Holy crap. As soon as I saw that, I was like, mine. I need a pink Catalyst Navy issue. So here I am. I have it. With the player experience constantly evolving and improving, plus creative, captivating narrative-driven events and features on the horizon, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's check out the 2 different packs. The Divinity Pack. Awesome. I'm glad that introduced you to me. So yeah, this one is $30. Comes with basically, so like a lot of their packs, the Omega and the Plex by itself is $30 worth, at least, no matter how you slice it, right? And so everything else after that is just bonus. So 150,000 skill points, the Cerebral Accelerator, these 2 skins, and the outfit, which, by the way, the jacket is actually pretty cool. Hold on. I know at least one person that bought it just for that. Here is the male jacket. It's just a nice black suit. And the female jacket. It's the casino style outfits that they came out with, but just solid black. I mean, it's pretty good. Oh, Obsidian Obsolescence came out last year's Rare Drops. There you go. That's right. I think I remember that. Hello Kitty Corp emblem on the side. I mean, it is 3 diamonds, but it does look pretty close, doesn't it? All right. And then the other pack, we got Heart Surge, where we've got 2 MCTs, which MCTs are what, like 400 plex each? And then 1,000 plex, so 1,000 plex is $50. So yeah, you're already, you're scraping at least $70 to $75 in just these 2 items by themselves. And then you get 500,000 skill points, the Cerebral Accelerator, and then these 4, which, I mean, seem pretty good. And then, of course, the other jacket and pants. Now, one of the things I do find interesting about all this is that I don't really know how to interpret this, guys. But if you look, there's these bundles, right? But is the... I don't see the normal ones. Right? It's the Valentine's Day thing, right? So all of the skins being offered right now are new. All of them. Right? So if you look here, here's the list of Heart Surge. I know, whatever. Thanks. I've told you guys, if you need to get my attention, you can always just send in a super chat. No, I'm just kidding. So, on the market, like I said, you've got these bundles, but that's it. There's no other of the Heart Surge. So we've got all these here. These ones with the diamonds. Confessor, Cinnable, Daredevil, Dramiel, Eagle, Hecate, Ishtar, Jackdaw, Macarial, Svitpol, Vagabond, Vigilant, Vindicator, and Zealot. All of those skins are not available right now. And now is when they would be sold. So I don't know. I don't know if you just don't get them. When the Paladin skin? I know, right? Oh, excuse me. So they might put out the rest of them, but I mean, we're already past Valentine's Day. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going to happen with these other skins and also with the ones that are a part of this package, right? Next year, they've already set a precedent, basically, that like next year, they may not actually offer any of the ones that they offered this year again next year. They might have the Paladin one, but not the Chronos one. I don't know. I don't think that it's a great way of doing things. It definitely has like a FOMO feel to it. But like, I'm just pointing out what I've seen. Your Legion has no school skins. I like the green one, personally. The Oasis of Faith on the Legion. I think it looks clean. Probably drops attached with the upcoming faction campaign. Can't be. These diamonds mean that they're bought on the premium market. These should be sold for Plex right now. But they're not. They're not available. Which is weird. But I mean, we also... This is the first time that one of the annual regular events just aren't being done once we've already expected them. Like they used to be very sporadic, or at least rather non-guaranteed, but then we kind of set into a normal pattern. By about a year or two ago, we had like a nice set pattern of the calendar of the year. And this year, of course, upends that. So, yeah, we're kind of in uncharted waters here. However, as we talked about last stream, hey! Thank you for that, Sean Bogard. Ash gotta eat. It's true. I appreciate it. You know who else needs to eat? My guinea pigs, who survive off of not only the hay and the food pellets that I went and got them earlier today before stream, but also survive pretty mightily off of your guys' likes, comments, and subscribe. So make sure to throw those in there as well. Thank you guys so much. Take this opportunity to like the stream and everything. That's very cool of you, Sean. All right. So, the new Tercio Rojo skin. That was, I found out later, that was for Spanish, right? That was for the Spanish thing? That was for the Spanish event? Oops. As in like the Spanish localization release? Yeah. Do it for the guinea pigs, exactly. Is the window still a bit broken? You mean like how it used to go like just off the edge? I'm not seeing it now. All right. But we have... Yeah, I did notice that before. It's not doing it now. So for the skins that are for the event that's coming out next, we have these Penumbral Shadow skins, which we looked at last time, which I think are very, very sexy. Hey, thank you for that. So this is these are going to be one of the new skins that are for the event that's coming up. There's also going to be, it looks like there's going to be RVB skins, like the Red Force and the Blue Force skins that are available probably as a login reward, and then these skins are part of the actual event itself. When is Ash going to read the news? Is there news? Is there new news? I check these things right before I go live. Oh. Yep, here it is. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do this. We're gonna do an ad, then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna look at the patch notes. Oh boy. Let's see here. Is there... Nope, there's no in other news. Okay. This is brand new stuff. Oh, hold on. Before we do that, I do want to play the news item I put out the other day from with the lovely voice acting from Dame from the Sorry in Advance Alliance and the Beaver Show.
On the authority of Gal Fencing and Fedmilcon, Director for Federation Air Service Defense HQ in Taki, various special military district statute authorized, Space Security and Defense Variat Delegation Fedmilcon, by consent Federal Senate and Intaki Assembly, System Security increase to Concord Rating 0.3, Capsuleer Infrastructure Construction Right suspended, Federation Combined Special Task Force 15 assigned for Gal Fencing and Fedmilcon, Vice Admiral Foriana Revedi, General Officer Commanding, Combined Special Task Force 15, Federation Navy.
I think she did a fantastic job. All right. Ready? Shipcaster spying row intensifies with recriminations over Concord Edencom Task Force. Shipcaster spying row intensifies with recrimination over Concord Edencom Task Force. ULI Genesis. Recriminations over the Shipcaster spying scandal involving Concord Edencom Task Force erupted into an open row between the Big Four empires in a public session of the Concord Assembly today in ULI. In particular, the Mimitar Republic accused Amar personnel seconded to Edencom duties of acting as, quote, agents for the Amar Empire's intelligence gathering and technology acquisition efforts, end quote, provoking a furious response from the Empire. Mimitar Ambassador Kaitan Yun presented evidence in support of the Republic's claim that the task force, including members of Concord's AG-12 office and Edencom Stellar Monitoring Directorate, quote, extensively made use of Amar military officials seconded to Edencom and stationed in multiple Concord member states, supporting them as clandestine sources of in its efforts, heedless of the fact that this effectively allows these individuals to also act as agents for the Amar Empire's intelligence gathering and technology acquisition efforts, end quote. Ambassador Yun further pointed out the prevalence of Amar military officers in Edencom forces across the Caldari state, alleging that, quote, once again we see that Edencom is a vehicle for the Amar infiltration efforts. and now in conjunction with a Concord Directorate, reminding many of us in the Republic of how Concord itself was once used in this manner. In the past, this required severe emergency measures that were regrettably but sadly necessitated by the actions of the Empire. We resist being driven to such measures again, and there is no reason for the Caldari state should be forced into such measures by Amar duplicity. Royal Heir Hamadeh Kador responded with barely contained fury to the accusations against the Amar Empire, declaring, quote, "The Holy Amar Empire entirely repudiates these baseless claims and regrets that the Shakarite regime is once more bent on sowing dissension between the people of New Eden for an entirely self-serving reasons. The terror regime's mouthpiece, Yun, is well known as a peddler of conspiracy theories dredged from the feeds of the most psychotic and demented capsuleers. Even still, this latest tissue of fabrication, lies and slander, represents the nadir of his career as a diplomat. In reality, Yun is nothing more than an assassin posing as a shepherd of a pack of wolves in sheep's clothing." End quote. What's interesting about that, so Khitan Yun was the Amar ambassador during the events of the Empyrean Age, which is noteworthy because this thing that he's alluding to here, once again, in the past we required several emergency measures that were regrettably but sadly necessitated by the actions of the Empire. What he's referring to is the time that he himself announced the attack by the Elder Fleet against Concord facilities in Uli. That was Yun that made that declaration. So, pretty thinly veiled threat from him, but Yun has always been kind of a firebrand. Scenes of chaos at Concord Assembly over spying row. Uli Genesis. Following Ambassador Khitan Yun's allegation against Concord, Edencom, and the Amar Empire, and the combative response from Royal Heir Hamadeh Kador, the Concord Assembly's public session devolved into scenes of shouting, booing, and confrontation on the floor of the chamber. The Caldari and Gallente delegations were caught up in the chaos as assembly members from the two empires sought to separate the Amar and Memitar assembly groups. Whoa! 07, thank you for that, Jim. Let's see. I'm enjoying this so much despite your exhaustion and arduous life of playing Roblox. I know. It's... pity me. Feeding hordes of guinea pigs. You put on a great show. Thank you. You're an asset to the EVE community. I try my best. Hey, man. Jim, you have just become an asset to the EVE community by enabling me to do this. I appreciate that. Let's jump right back into it. Ambassador Devin Malatate of the Gallente Federation addresses reporters after the session was prematurely closed, saying, quote, "I deplore the scenes we have just witnessed as a counter to all principles of rational diplomacy and discourse between member states of the Assembly. The accusations and counter-accusations made today are serious and must be investigated. But it is plain that the neutral party, such as the Federation, is best placed to thoroughly determine the facts and the dispositions of certain technologies. We intend to press that point in future discussions." Adding further, wait, does this mean that nobody's paying attention in Taki anymore? Woo! Ishikone CEO Menz Repala, attending the Concord Assembly from the rotating delegate from the Caldari State's Chief Executive Panel, poured scorn upon Ambassador Maladate's suggestion, responding, quote, "The Federation's motive in this matter are not obscure, given their critical failures in analyzing and adapting Triglavian strategic technologies." Ouch! Pressed for comment on the Republic's charge of Amar espionage against the Caldari state through Edencom and Concord, CEO Repala would only say, quote, "Naturally, we take such claims seriously, given the gravity of what is alleged, but we must see to our own investigations and arrive at our own conclusion, without the basis of third-party intruding." Now, it's worth noting that the very person that they're probably referring to here, the head of Edencom Intelligence, the former sub-inquisitor of Shatrath's city, in Sine Wave Omega, coordinates and communicates with a Caldari member of AG-12, of Archive K, who is the secret intelligence sharing cooperative, whatever, CIA, whatever you want to call it, of the Caldari. So the Caldari are like elbow up into this. They just haven't necessarily been caught yet, probably. All right. Construction efforts in key Big Four Empire systems continue. Onamon, Blackrise. Significant new construction efforts have been reported in the Caldari system of Onamon, recently designated as the headquarters of state military and naval efforts in the Caldari Gallente militia war zone. Amidst the Edencom Concord spying scandal, observers have speculated that Caldari state research efforts on the so-called shipcaster technology are proceeding apace and may include construction of a prototype device. The Caldari construction efforts follow increasing fortification of the Intaki system by the Gallente Federation Military and Security Services. The Federation registered an increase of security status for the Intaki system from Concord rating 0.3 to 0.4 earlier this week. While the Federation and State increases their military footprints and further fortify the edges of the militia war zone, the Amhara Empire and Mimitar Republic have not been idle. The Mimitar Republic has considerably advanced construction of its new fleet station, its Unified Territorial Liberation Command headquarters in the Ammo system in Metropolis. The Republic efforts are matching pace with the Amar Empire's operations, developing the Mehathor system in Divoolej region into a headquarters for the Empire's combined fleet group Damius. Increased fortifications and militarization efforts in the broader regions of the core empires and the militia war zones have accompanied steady deteriorating diplomatic relations since the Surthud campaign and the Turner incident. This crisis in interstellar diplomacy, which many observers believe to be the outcome of many years of breaches of the Uli Accord and Concord Emergency Militia War Powers Act by all empires, have flared up yet again with the shipcaster spying scandal. The long-term roles and composition of Edencom and even Concord are now being openly questioned by diplomats, politicians, and elites in the core empires. And that is it for today, February 16th, YC 125. This New Eden News. I have been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. And until next time, I'll see you in space. All right. Good to go. All right, that was good. That was good. Let's get back to what we were doing. Let's jump right back into the patch notes. Not leaving. Yep. Exactly, LM. We got it. You got the fish. You got the fish. You're gonna have to explain what this means because I have no idea what they're talking about. You mean about the shipcaster thing? I did put I mean, like, the last video on the Shadow War kind of explains it a lot more. But so the short of it is that last year, towards the end of last year, you know what? I was going to do this last time, and we're going to do it this time. Now, I will admit, so come with me on a journey. The first trailer I'm going to show you contains copyrighted music. So we're going to play it muted. But just, like, imagine in your back of your head, there's, like, a ticking clock, okay? And maybe I'll pause it and even, like, do stuff places. Hold on. Eve... Uprising teaser. Shh, shh, shh. No. Be quiet. All right. So is this not going to show it? I forgot. I forgot how little this shows. All right. Well, whatever. So in the system of Othanoon, Othanoon is a Triglavian minor victory system. The Othanoon system in the Surthud constellation is a Triglavian minor victory and was known for having an above average, I guess, presence of Triglavian activity. Eve Online Othanoon. Is this going to have it? Actually, let's just watch this part, and then we'll explain it.
Deep concerns have arisen across New Eden following the Amar Empire's activation of prototype stellar transmuters in the Amar-occupied Minmatar systems of Turner, Vard, and Egmar. The constellations these systems belong to have also seen increased Amar Navy and Minmatar Republic fleet activity in recent months as Imperial forces aimed to capitalize on the strength of the 24th Imperial Crusade's occupation of much of the war zone. That these apparently experimental stellar manipulation projects are taking place far from Amar population centers and in occupied territory has fueled rumors that such experiments bear a significant risk of system-wide catastrophes. Active fighting in and around their locations has only further alarmed the interstellar community. The Amar Empire's Captain Marshal Sirdan Zerkosh has dismissed protests at the Amar actions and claims that imperial law and interstellar treaties permit infrastructure development and resource extraction in occupied territories. Republic Ambassador Ketan Yun has described the Amar position as delusional arrogance. Republic Fleet Hetman General Kath Filmer warned of the grave danger posed by the Imperial stellar transmuters in systems which are traditionally Republic territory and primarily colonized by Minmatar settlers. In response, the Minmatar Tribal Liberation Force mounted an offensive that captured both the Vard and Egmar systems, among numerous others. By this success, the Capsuleer fighters of the Minmatar militia handed control of the Vard and Egmar transmuters to the Republic. Despite the risks, the potential for advances in energy and resource collection technology apparently seem high to the Republic as well as to the Empire. Following the capture of the Vard and Egmar systems, there are no signs that the Minmatar are about to shut down the stellar transmuters. It appears evident that the Republic plans to carry on with testing the technology and intends to develop it for its own use. In the face of extraordinary developments in the Amar Minmatar war zone, both sides apparently remain wary of the risks of escalation to full-scale war between the Empire and Republic. Even so, the respective militaries of each empire are taking further steps to recruit Capsuleers to their cause. Access to new naval ship designs are among the offered incentives for assistance in the stellar research efforts of the two empires. A rapid deterioration in relations between the Caldari State and Gallente Federation is threatening to become critical following a number of recent incidents and escalating conflict in the border war zone between the two powers. Earlier this year, a diplomatic crisis followed accusations of Gallente involvement in a massive spy ring operating deep within the Caldari State. The mass defection of spies, and particularly the escape of ringleader and Garista's agent, Ezri Hakuzosu, is believed to have caused leaks of advanced technology developed as part of the Caldari Navy Dreadnought upgrade program. Subsequently, the discovery of a derelict Edencom outpost orbiting Athenon 5 and the uncovering of an apparent Triglavian facility on the surface of the planet has attracted the attention of both the Caldari State and Gallente Federation. While the exact purpose and nature of the Triglavian facility remains unknown to the public, it is clear that it contains something of great value, as Caldari and Gallente naval squadrons have clashed frequently in the contested system. In the midst of the rising conflict, the Caldari State has constructed a stargate in the system of Samanuni. With the support of Caldari Capsuleers, construction of a connecting gate in the Athenon system has also been completed, giving the state a valuable advantage in recovering Triglavian technology. The Gallente Federation has likewise constructed a stargate in the Amignan system, but are still struggling to complete the construction of its counterpart in Athenon. The undisclosed technology rumored to be found in the Triglavian research facility on Athenon 5 and associated Triglavian relay sites seems to be of tremendous value as both sides compete in a desperate race to acquire a working understanding of it. Rapid construction of military infrastructure and signs of fleet buildups in the Samanuni and Amignan systems have additionally raised concerns that an all-out war between the two empires is imminent. Concord has urged diplomacy on all parties, but escalation seems set to continue. This is Alton Havery, reporting for The Scope.
All right, a few things. First of all, let's start with the Samanuni thing and Athenoon. So the result of this event was that, as they kind of pointed out there, the Caldari succeeded in making their connection. So as you can see, there's a connection now from Samanuni all the way to Athenoon. They successfully built that Stargate. Now, the Gallente failed to build their Stargate from Amignon to Athenoon. So instead, they actually repurposed this Stargate to instead link from Amignon to Intaki. And that happened at the same time that the Gallente came in and took out these two constellations out of the war zone completely, right? So, and that, actually, we can play that part too. So this was the aftermath of the report that you just watched. LM1 coming in with 10 gifted subs to the channel. Thank you so much. You guys have been awesome today. I'm sorry, I've been kind of skipping over this, but you guys' support today have been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for LM1, Jim, and Sean for your guys' support. But LM1, on behalf of the following people, I want to give you a thank you. Aikawarazu Chan, Pekin Mix, Lucas SpoonS, Epidemic, G Bacon. Oh no, G Bacon's just saying the lore is amazing, which I agree with. Max, Nator, Coldwave, Puppet Master, Gareth Roberts, Bandy, all of you, congratulations on getting your stuff. Thank you, LM1, for doing that. It means a lot. You know, I'm going to take a step back and not necessarily call them out too much, but I was actually just talking with some people about, like, the memberships and whether or not I should gifted memberships and whatever, and the fact that LM1, you frequently do gift memberships came up, and just how incredibly kind it is. And so without saying any names, I'm going to just say that I have been communicated personally that it is incredibly meaningful that you do that when they do get it. So thank you for myself and for all of the people who do get it. It's really cool of you, man. Let's back this up a little bit.
The region is still coming to terms with the catastrophe in the system of Turner, with devastation on a staggering scale.
Initial estimates of fatalities are reported to be in the millions, with complete loss of life on Turner 1.
Evidence points to the catastrophic failure of the Amarr-built stellar transmuter, sparking condemnation across New Eden.
Further increasing tensions between the Minmatar Republic and the Amarr Empire are now at breaking point, witnessed by a sharp escalation of skirmishes.
Diplomatic negotiations between both sides have all but collapsed.
Broadcasting live with shocking scenes of Federation ships invading Intaki and neighboring systems. This is a major developing situation amidst the current turmoil in New Eden.
My fellow citizens, time has come for the Federation to rise and liberate Intaki, to recover what is ours. These worlds and the people of
the Kaldari state are being slaughtered in this outrageous invasion. We stand ready to confront any aggression against the state, and the combined
military of the Minmatar Republic will repay our enemies in kind for this mass murder, for it is the
sacred obligation of every subject of Holy Amarr to reclaim the stars and rise up for your empire.
Woo! God, I love that trailer so gosh darn much. All right, so yeah, basically, as we saw in the previous video, we have in the system of Othanoon, there was this structure that was discovered, which is an Edencom facility. And on the ground of that storm planet, here's another shot of it. On the ground of that storm planet, we have this footage. So this right here is a Triglavian facility, and it says in some of the reports that we have now that basically there was an altercation between Edencom and the Triglavians here, which led to a burst of energy in orbit, which possibly involved the taking offline of the structure. It looks like the Triglavians might have raided the structure in the end. However, what was really going on is, yeah, the full footage is on the ASMR channel. That's correct. Those Hecates needed heart search skins, all I'm saying. They needed Navy skins. So what we didn't know was what was the Triglavians working on. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, you have these Triglavian stellar transmitters being built by Amar and the Mimitar, or rather the Amar, and then captured by the Mimitar over on their war zone. Now, we didn't really know what it was all leading towards, but there was not only the gate building competition, but there was also a data collection competition for both sides. And the Caldari succeeded in their data competition, and the Amar and Mimitar both succeeded in their side. Now, what we've learned is that there's actually two different Triglavian technologies in play here, okay? There's the stellar transmitter technology, which is the one that we already knew, which seems to be basically being used as a power source, right? They're drawing the energy out of the star to power something massive. So that massive thing that they're powering is something known as the Shipcaster. The other technology, the technology that the Edencom discovered, and then later the Caldari discovered, was the idea that it's a novel transportation technology, allowing them to teleport people or ships at unbounded range with precision, which is pretty strong. But so far, the empires have not mastered that technology yet. So what does this mean? In the last event, the Caldari got the transportation technology, and the Amar and the Mimitar got the transmitter technology. In the next event, the Shadow War, each side will have to compete to collect both technologies. So the Caldari need to get transmitter technology from either the Amar and or the Mimitar. The Amar and Mimitar need to get novel transportation technology from the Caldari, and the Gallente have to get both from all three, or, you know, from whoever they get it from. Now, once a side gets that technology, they then become a source of that technology for everybody else. Whether or not this means that everybody's going to eventually get a shipcaster, or whether or not somebody can get locked out, is unknown. It's likely, very, very, very likely, that these things are going to be absolutely critical to faction warfare from here on out. So the idea of not getting one of these shipcasters completed is really bad. Like, this is not just like a Stargate. Because it's very likely that these shipcasters are going to be critical to getting forces at the battlefields wherever they appear on the front lines from here on out. So, get ready for this. Everybody's going to be able to choose which one of the four sides that you're able to belong to and go into the sites, either data, salvage, or combat sites of the three other empires, to piece together their little data, to build the data cores, to turn those in to your side in order to get prizes, including those skins that we were looking at earlier. So that's what's happening any day now. All of that stuff that I just talked about is now patched into the game. They could make it go live fucking right now if they wanted to. So that's what's happening. Okay? Patch notes. Beyond everything that we've talked about so far, there's a couple of patch notes that I wanted to go over. Dank, yeah. Updated docking and undocking sound effects, good. So the compact entropic radiation sink has been buffed. It used to have identical stats to the Tech 1 version, which is pretty funny. So now it's truly compact. For those of you who don't know, compact means less fittings. Although in this case, it also gets a damage modifier and a rate of bonus modifier, which is pretty good. But compact usually means less fitting requirements. Also, the restrained warp disruption field generator now has a lower signature radius penalty when unscripted. It previously had no advantage over either the enduring or compact. Restrained means that its penalties are being reduced. So, restrained, the signature radius penalty is the penalty for a warp disruption field generator. So, a restrained should reduce that penalty, but it didn't, and now it will. Now it does. In your view, why is the Gallente lagging so far behind? Do you see us as completing any of the next war goals? I actually do see us completing the next war goals if people, people commit to it. I think that it's actually a really good chance that we could come back because, so here's the thing. The Gallente are in a losing position at the moment. We have smaller numbers. We have less victory points per day, et cetera, et cetera. We have significantly more kills. But the point is that like the war zone is starting to hit kind of like a new stalemate's the wrong word, but like this is the new battle lines, as it were. Now, prior to this, it was a lot worse. Like our battle lines we were almost completely wiped out. And so that's actually why the afternoon campaign went so poorly for the Gallente, is that basically the Gallente just checked out of it completely. They said the Caldari can handle it. We're going to use that time and that extra effort, that the distraction that this is providing in order to take some key systems to give us the new equilibrium. Thank you. To get us some key strategic positions in the war zone as it's getting into the changeover. So the Caldari people were focused very much on the faction campaign and maximizing that. The Gallente people were focused on the upcoming uprising changes and its impact on how the war zone worked. So the Gallente focused on taking the systems that they did in order to create the choke points that they did, and which eventually allowed us to secure most of the south for the war pretty handily for the Gallente. So I would say that we are recovering and doing a lot better than we have before. We could certainly use more help, but it is definitely not an unwinnable situation by the Gallente. The thing is that the Gallente always have a disadvantage because of the fact that in order to join faction warfare for the Gallente, you have to consciously and voluntarily decide that you don't want to go to Jita anymore, which is a huge thing for a lot of people, even though you can get hauling and there's other ways of doing it. Like it's a barrier to entry for a lot of people. And a lot of groups, a lot of bigger groups will make people go to Caldari instead of Gallente for this exact reason. So I think that direct enlistment is going to be really critical here, where I think that the people that wanted to support the Caldari are already in the Caldari. But the people who wanted to support the militia are probably disproportionately waiting for direct enlistment. This is my hope. So we're really, this event is going to be a wild card with the direct enlistment coming in. So buff Dodixie. Dodixie is becoming an increasingly awesome trade hub, and you should buy there. Is that gathering of sites and building stuff out of date sites something that you can also do outside of that thing that will come up? Hold on. No, the previous faction campaign sites are gone. But the new event sites are going to be open for everybody. I just hope that direct enlistment doesn't come with the high-sec war deck. It's going to be interesting. That is one of the questions, right? Like, what restrictions are going to be imposed upon you as an individual for doing direct enlistment? And what advantages are going to be given to corporations that remain in faction warfare in spite of the fact that people can just join in with direct enlistment? Those are the kind of details that are the reason why I'm kind of holding off on giving any commentary about it, because those are some pretty big X factors that could change the way that this whole thing plays out, right? So, yeah. Anywho, let's keep on going. If you're not in a corp getting supplies, will be harder as a solo player. Yeah, but I think so. One of the things that I've been talking about a lot is that, you know, LP, like Evermarks, generates Evermarks on top of what you make instead of taxing it. So what if you're in a faction warfare corporation, the faction warfare corporation also gains LP when you gain LP. But if you're not in a faction warfare corporation, that extra LP is thrown away. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking they're going for. Perun Heavy Multi-Adaptive Remote Armor Repairer. This has been one of the ones that we've looked at for a very long time. This is one of the things that have been wrong forever. The Perun Adaptive Armor Repairer was actually worse than the Tech 2 version, even though it's faction. So now it has been buffed. It's in its rightful position. It's been buffed in almost every single way, and it is a proper faction repairer now. Make a corp. We need a leader. I can drive my ships. The 4 Navy... Okay, so then here's another big one. The 4 Navy E-War frigates are now available as BPC offers in Faction Warfare Militia Corp loyalty points for 2 million ISK and 4,000 LP. For those of you who do not know, the Crucifier Navy issue, the Griffin Navy issue, the Mollusk Navy issue, and the Vigil Fleet issue used to not be purchasable as a BPC. You could only get it by turning in the base frigate and its chip, the Nexus chip. This used to be a good way to be like an offset of the price of things. Like back when faction stuff was super, super expensive, people bought stuff with the chip. But when Uprising came out and they cut the cost of all the build costs and the price of the BPO or BPCs, people shifted over to building via BPCs these faction ships. However, these Navy E-War frigates remained the only ones that could not be done that way. So this kind of finishes the circle and allows you to now build these E-War frigates, which, by the way, I didn't notice that they changed the Griffin Navy issue recently, but oh my gosh, is that thing strong. Just throwing that out there. Also, supply caches will now spawn for the attacking faction and rearguard and command outpost position, and updated the battlefield icon of the faction warfare map. The second one, that first one is huge. So we have been sitting here in these systems and like, man, why is it that we're at 8% advantage, they're at 4% advantage, and we have, or like, they're at 8% advantage and we're at 6% advantage, and we have 2 supply caches out in space, and they don't have any. For those of you who don't know, when you have advantage, which is what controls how much points you make when you complete sites and stuff, you do tasks to build up advantage. Well, if you have advantage, then the supply caches will spawn within the system, and if the enemy goes and kills them, that removes your advantage. So it's like having your advantage just sitting there laying out in space for anybody to come and attack. So the fact that we kept getting our supply caches and they never got theirs made it incredibly difficult for us to make any progress at all in the advantage chain. Turned out that because we were defending a system, the Caldari were attacking, which meant their supply caches were just literally just not spawning. So we weren't crazy. It was true. So now, and the same thing happened in other places where we were the attacker and they were the defender. But I wasn't, I've been defending mostly, so that's how I noticed it. But yeah, so now if you're in a command outpost or a rearguard system and the attacking faction has advantage, supply caches will spawn as they are supposed to. Also, they updated the battlefield icon in Faction Warfare map to be cross swords instead of literally a cross. The traits of the Venture and Prospect ships have been reworded from bonuses to gas harvester amount to gas scoop amount. Hopefully lead less players to buying the wrong size module. That's right. Yeah. So it used to just be the gas harvester, but then when they changed it so that mining barges could also do it, they gave the gas harvesters to the barges and renamed the frigate-sized one to Scoop. But they didn't change the name or in the description. So it said that the Venture was bonus for gas harvesters, which meant people would buy a gas harvester for their Venture and it wouldn't fit. And so then they were like, what the fuck? Because it's already pretty expensive. So that's what that fix is about. Renamed the Restrained Interdiction Nullifier and its blueprint to Enduring Interdiction Nullifier to match other meta modules which give a benefit to the capacitor cost. So Restrained would normally mean that it restricts its penalty. Enduring means it takes less cap. Apparently, it was worded incorrectly, so now it has an enduring name, like it's supposed to. Energy neutralizer modules will now show the exact amount of capacitor they remove from the ship that they are activated on in the combat log, now taking into account the ship's energy resistance value and current capacitor rather than always reporting the maximum amount possible. This is great, because I think that it was newts or NOSes. We used to have to use NOSes to check to see whether or not they're still draining, because a NOS would give you 0 capacitor, but it would always say the neutralizer neutered for full amount. So this is just really kind of convenient, especially for things like Nutristans and stuff. Para and heavy muted adaptive remote armor repair will now drop as a 1-run BPC rather than as a whole module. Cool. Large industrial core and large industrial core 2. So the Orca industrial cores have had their input materials reduced by 33%. However, Rockwall capital core 2's inputs have been increased. The strong Frentrix booster reaction formula has had the hydrochloric acid input reduced from 100 to 20 to match all other strong combat booster reactions. Perun Heavy adopted Muted Adaptive Remote Armor Repair Blueprint now requires the Tech 2 as an input to build. It is now possible to store ships which have drones and implants in the cargo hold inside of a ship maintenance bay and arrays. That's great. More things fit inside of ship maintenance bays. That's cool. I mean, you already left the, now that you can stuff ammo in there, I mean, like, which you always, I guess, haven't been able to do, you might as well, right? If somebody wants to stuff their ships full of implants and then stuff them inside of a ship maintenance bay, enjoy. Ship scanner should read out the cap status of the, it does. The ship scanner does read out the cap status of the ship. But, like, my new Tristan doesn't have an extra mid slot for a ship scanner. Photon and UI and multiple overviews have now concluded their feature preview phase. Improvement on PI interface so that when you have multiple extractors with multiple pins each, it's more clear which pins belong to the extractors. Added help pointers for alliance fittings in the industrial input. Improved displaying loading progress bars and fail states in the fitting window. Added light background toggle options. Toggle compact mode by default. Added collapse expand options to window control menu. Updated animations for docking notification. Text color has been updated in various places. Selected tab now underline now animates when a new tab is selected. Blah, blah, blah. Added configurable default settings for new chat windows. Updated the layout of fitting management window. Tweaked the layout of the trade window. Increased the width of the price input field in the market window. Added a UI warning when interdiction nullifier is fitted to a module or rig which disables the nullification, i.e. the burst jammer. Whenever you get a new trade, while you have a stack of trades in the same stacked window, the new trade window will no longer appear in front of the active trade that you're currently working on. That's actually really handy because people will like, one person will be like, open a trade with me. And everybody is like, well, their trades will just start coming in. So you'll like click OK, but accidentally click OK on the new window that popped up right when you clicked, so this makes it so that it doesn't happen. Massive Federation Navy project to secure the Intaki system continues. It's now 0.4. The Federation Navy's enforced moratorium on the deployment of new upwell structures, player structures within the Intaki system is in place, so you can't deploy upwell structures. Crime Watch audio sound effects are now tied to warning sound slider on the advanced audio settings. Blah, blah, blah. Navy Dreadnought Rex can now be destroyed and salvaged. Warp disruption field generator scripts no longer list obsolete attributes. The volume of some 400 MN and 800 MM armor plates have been reduced to match the consistency across the size of each tier. It's now possible to include the fireworks package in contracts. The heavy stasis grappler 2 blueprint now correctly belongs to the Tech 2 group type. Lots and lots of graphical changes. Localization issues. Remove rapid torpedo launcher from the rate of fire bonus from the Komodo trait tab as it can no longer fit them. Lots of little tiny things. Oh, they added the new belts that were spawned in AO and border systems now have their own like names and stuff instead of just like asteroid belt or whatever it is that the beacon is by generic. A bunch of other little things. Added a text to the Bastion module clarifying that it does not affect rapid heavy missile launchers. Also adjusting the text which states that the ship using Bastion is immune to electronic warfare instead of just being resistant to it. MPE stuff. User interface stuff. Docking animation notification will no longer linger longer than it should. The mouse wheel scroll speed has been made consistent. Blah, blah, blah. The other big one that I saw that isn't in this list is now if you are in faction warfare and you're a logistics pilot, you now get a share of the LP that your team gets for killing players of the enemy militia. So that's cool. So yeah, lots of really cool things in this patch, but it's not necessarily like the monumental patch, but it's also worth noting that there is a huge amount of stuff that was snuck in when it comes to this event, right? All of this stuff. It is worth noting that, look, they actually still do need to patch one more time, now that I think about it. Because all of these models are wrong. These models need to be changed. So there's at least going to be one more patch. It could be happening the morning of or whatever, before they make this event go live. But lots and lots of cool stuff coming. New boosters for all the different stuff. We talked about this all in the last video. So on and so forth. Yeah, that's it for that. Anything else? Still a fairly useless slot when the newt info is all that is needed to report correctly. Yes, that's true. I have used a ship scanner on a Balgorn, but a lot of the time when I'm newting, I don't want to waste a slot for a mid slots are sacred, man. I think it's more useless to try to NOS a target while you can actually newt it. Well, again, I was talking about a Balgorn most of the time, and then it can NOS anyways. But again, I used the small NOS in order to get as almost like get a read off of them, not necessarily to like get work done. It's like a high slot version of a ship scanner instead of a mid slot version. But yeah, I understand your concern. It is particularly important for Blood Raider ships when it comes to the NOS thing. But you know, again, my new Tristan, like right now, I have to notice that they're newted out because they stop moving as fast and they stop shooting me as hard. Being able to verify as soon as they start taking cap damage again means that I can slam in my newts again. So like, it's just one more thing that lets me know what's going on, which I appreciate. Is there anything else to talk about today? So yeah, if you are interested in helping out with the Gallente Federation, the Convocation of Empyreans is our high-sec corp. The UI, we did the UI thing. We did Photon a little bit. I mean, like we talked about, we went through the blog. Did I showcase the uses of the new Photon UI? That depends on what you mean by the uses of the new Photon UI. I think I covered a lot of the Photon UI stuff, especially in like the my overview of the overview video. Hey, sorry in advance. Oh, 7 to you. Hey guys, make sure to go check out Sorry in Advance. Their YouTube channel. They put out a really fun podcast every week, I want to say, that they do in both French and English. So whichever one you prefer, you can watch. They're a bunch of crazy Canucks and pretty good dudes. And they have, we're going to go with bowls, not balls, of bacon. But yeah, is there any other showcase, the uses of the new Photon UI? I mean, I've been using the new Photon UI for a while now. So if there's something I need to showcase, then that'd be neat. I did showcase some of the widgets that should be coming. Hey, sorry in advance. Did you see how the voice work ended up? I can play it again for you if you want. Yeah, multi-over. Yeah. My overview, my guide to the overview video definitely goes over multi-overviews. I love it a lot, all of it. No, this is standard bacon. It's standard bacon. In Canada, bacon is bacon. What we call Canadian bacon, they call back bacon. So, yeah, Canadian bacon is actually not a concept in bacon in Canada, in Canada. That's like suggesting that the only way that the French eat potatoes is through French fries. Speaking of French and French fries, poutine is definitely something I've heard a lot of good stuff about, but I want to try. I've never actually tried it. French fries aren't French. Yes, Vas. That's the point. That was the entire analogy. That was the connection I'm trying to make here. French fries aren't French and Canadian bacon isn't Canadian. That being said, as a proud Hawaiian, I like Canadian bacon. All I'm saying is bowls of bacon is a lot of bacon, okay? No, there's a Eve Montreal. It has an event coming up. You can find it the Eventbrite link. I put out a video where we interviewed, sorry in advance, and we chatted. If I fry some fries in France, do they not become French fries? Man, I had at least 2 good comments immediately, and both of them are flagrantly racist, so I'm not going to say them. My military mind kicked in, and it was like, oh, here's your quip. And I was like, nope, that's how you lose. That's how you lose your YouTube account. No, but seriously, Ben, did you see the final result of Dame's voice work? You have to fry them in the Champagne region of France, otherwise you're just making they're just sparkling potatoes. Dang you, Toss! Okay. Awesome. Yeah. She did a great job. It's funny because I've had some people go like, I can barely understand her. Her accent's so thick. And I'm like, that's the point! The one thing I do regret, though, is the fact that in shorts, it doesn't like have the description there, because like I actually in the description I put the actual text, but most people just get the voice, and so I don't think people keyed on it quite as much as they probably could have. No, that's not what Agard sounds like. No, that is not what Agard sounds like. We know what Agard sounds like. That's Fiora Rivelli that she was doing the voice work for. This is her voice. This is Celsaga.
Amidst the current turmoil in New Eden.
My fellow citizens,
this one.
Time has come for the Federation to rise and liberate Intaki to recover what is ours.
That is That is Celis Agard. In fact, we can find this one.
Hundreds of worlds, billions of people. Our strength is our diversity.
Yeah, if I had realized it, Ben, I would have put the text on the video. That's what I should have done. Let's start this over.
Hundreds of worlds, billions of people. Our strength is our diversity. Our tolerance lends us unity. But cross us, and you will swiftly find the steel beneath the velvet. Above all, know this, my fellow citizens. Our Federation is the light of liberty, shining in the darkness.
Full cut butcher. Okay, look. I love the Gallente. I love freedom. I love liberty. I love justice. I love equality. But I just gotta say something, okay? Hold on. One second, okay? Ready? Hold on. Give me a second. Come on, YouTube. Or Google, don't do this to me. Like... So this is Celis Agard. Now, CCP does take from other, sci-fi games and whatnot for inspiration, as all creatives do. But I just gotta say, why did they choose Celis Agard as a space ball? Right? That seems like it's a pretty interesting little jump. It's a strange reference, for sure. All right. No, why doesn't she sound French? Because she's not French. She is, she's, Yin Mei? Yin Mei. She's Yin Mei. Right? They need to be an ad of the beginning shit. Hey, Mark Dove, thank you for that membership. I love freedom, I love democracy. You're halfway to becoming Chancellor in the Galactic Senate. Virewolf, I am the Senate. All right. That's why they're so far behind the afternoon thing. Gallente lost the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Dang right. We've been jammed. Only one man dares give me the raspberry. Caldari! All right. We're done. We're done now. We're done. Cut it off. Hensamar. That's fair enough. No, it's Lone Star, right? Lone Star. Never mind. I'm dumb. You mean the region. Okay, whatever. You out-nerded me for just a second, Iron. You got me. Lone Star's ship was very Caldari-esque with those ship edges. It's true. It's a block with wings. That's pretty accurate. I caught on eventually. No, but Celis Agard is actually from Shandeli. She's not Gallente. She's not what is it? Ethnic Gallente. She's actually from the Yinmei people. Oh, we're all nerds here. You need tips. Tips. What kind of tips? Missile tips? Here's a tip. The tip of the missile tells you what kind of damage the missile does. That's a tip. This is the quality of entertainment that you get when I'm on 3 hours of sleep, guys. I can see that lone star from 1,000 miles away calling me back. I don't know what that is. Venture far away. Is that a song? About Texas? The only Texas I know about is avocado lawyers. Caddis does have a better hairdo. The missile knows where it is because it knows where it isn't. Yes! Like I know nothing and I'm in air school for industrialists still. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Well, I have quite a few good videos. They are often quite long, but that's because there's a lot of information and I try to like keep it as condensed as possible. I recommend letting it wash over you. A few other things is I recommend make sure you get your buddy code for 1,000,000 free SP. Keep that SP until using it will help you do something that you wouldn't be able to do without it. Don't just burn it because you have it. And don't let anybody tell you what you should do in EVE Online. Like as far as like what's fun, what's profitable, what's worth it to you. You define what's worth it to you. And then once you've, you know, as a new player, your biggest objective should be to find out what it is that you're into in EVE. Don't look for like the best thing or the most ISK or whatever, because none of that is even like coherent at a new player level. Your job, it's a big, scary universe, and it's your job to find your place in it. Now, once you understand what you want to do, you can find organizations that can help you enable it. There are training organizations that can help you learn. There are wormhole organizations that let you wormhole. There's all this kind of stuff. Do not hesitate to jump into a player organization. They are there to help you out. A lot of places, they will, you know, a lot of games, you're expected to like get good and then apply to a game or to like a guild or whatever. EVE Online is not that way. Most organizations will be more than happy to teach you how to do things their way. So once you understand what kind of group you want to be part in, just fucking join them, man. If it's null, if it's high, if it's low, if it's a wormhole, and if you don't like it, try another group. You owe no loyalty to anybody until you're ready to. Yeah. Other than that, check out the Magic 14, which are the 14 skills that can be used or that are applicable to everything. You don't necessarily need to prioritize those, but those are good skills to know to train when you don't know what else to train. The streams are long due to tangents. The cut videos are actually pretty info dense. That's correct. Well, when I'm doing a segment, when I'm sitting down and like teaching a thing, I try to keep it as concise as possible, and then I go back through it again and still edit it down further. So, I'm a rebel miner. Hey, that's fine, man. If you like to mine, then go for it. There are good ways to mine. If you're looking for a group, you can always come check out our group. But there's plenty of other good organizations. Several of them are here. But the big thing is that, like, whatever. The thing is that, like, trust is really important in EVE, okay? If you trust somebody, they can screw you over. But at the same time, you don't have to trust everybody, you know, people, right? Like, you can just join a corporation and basically offer them effectively nothing, right? Like, if they ask you to pay them money to join the corp, then it's a scam. If they're asking you to give you things, if a corporation asks a new bro for anything tangible, it's a scam. There is nothing that you have that the corp needs besides yourself and your ability to learn. That is it. That's your value, at least at first. Once you get up to speed, then maybe. But like a corp should be showing you what they can do to offer to you at the beginning. If you need to, just make your own corp. And keep your own taxes. I was trying to come back to EVE after 10 years of absence, and I bounced from ship fitting. It was so much work. I have a big, long video about ship fitting. Also, I have a video that's just about how to get caught back up with EVE Online if you've been gone during an absence. So you should check both of those out. Ash knows all about them from the Ugali situation. Which one? Oh, UNF. Yeah. Iron's good. The dudes are good. But, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with looking up good fits for things. I do recommend my fitting guide, if for no other reason than so that way you can understand how to take somebody's fit that is, like, designed for maximum skills and what adjustments you need to make in order to make it work for you. That's a big critical one. But my ship fitting guide focuses less on, like, how to fit a specific ship. And it's more like we systematically go through every single module type in the game and go over everything that you might need to consider or talk about when it comes to ship mechanics. I just use the fitting as a way of, like, systematically going through it. So it is very long, but, like, you will go from being pretty clueless to being one of the more knowledgeable people about ship fittings and ship mechanics in the game, basically in less than half a day. You can copy anybody's fit, but how to use it might be not easy to learn. Exactly. Which the Convocation of Empyreans is working on resources and stuff. If anybody wants to come help us when it comes to lore or ships, one of the things I want to do is make more of these kits. So an example is of one of the ones I was working on. So this is my, this is just a thing that I was working on as an example, but, so I took the stats, like the physical stats of the ship, and here's the modules. This is my Newt Tristan. So the idea is that a kit would be a ship, a fit, skills, and then like a strategy video, right? This is just a cool visual for it that I was working on. If you're interested in helping us maximize player engagement with EVE Online, I do recommend you consider joining the Convocation of Empyreans. What is that UI? I built that in Unity. Those are, here. Here it is. And to prove that it works, well, this window doesn't have it, but thank you for the sub. You can see my 3 kill marks right there. At least one of those is solo. So like this fit definitely works. But yeah, they're tri marks. Or not tri marks, but transverse bulkheads. I returned after 8 years. Now a lot of my assets and best clone is in the old Ikoria system. To recover it, I'll need +3 standings with Triglavians. What time frame should I expect to recover? You do not need +3 standings with the Triglavians. Whatever you read that says that you need +3 standings with the Triglavians is old information. It's no longer true. One thing that you can do is you could just fire sale it in position. Well, you used to. I mean, and dude, Fleet, I'm not going to explain it to you because I know you know. But it used to be that you needed to have standings to get through the gates. But now the only gate that needs standings is the home system. You get that error? Oh! Yeah, that's going to be a problem. So the problem there is that you can dock in that station. You can get your stuff in that station. The 3.0 is so you can access the clone bay. And that's not going to be an easy solution, unfortunately. So your clone might be stuck in there for a while. I don't know what else to tell you about that. But, like, if you go here, you can see at 1.0, you can use the fitting services. At 2.0, you can use repairs. And at 3.0, you can use jump clones. So, okay. No, it says jump clone. So it could very well be, it could be that if you're in the station itself, you can jump to that clone. Oh, you can't jump. Well, but why is it giving him the error of 3.0 when 3.0 says jump clone? I'm going to say this. Flea is one of the people that likely knows what the hell he's talking about. Yes. It used to be 8.0 standing to install the jump clone. That's correct. But they changed that a while ago. No, he's outside of the station, right? Yeah, you tried to jump in from Gita 44. You might be able to jump to the clone if you're in the station. Yeah. So if you travel to Pochvin using a filament and then dock up there, you might be able to hop into it. There is a lot of information about Pochvin. It is actually fairly easy to fix your standings in Pochvin if you do it right. There's a website called edencom.space. Edencom is basically the United Forces against the Triglavian Collective. So edencom.space has a lot of really good quality information about how to go to Pochvin, how to operate in Pochvin, how to get standings, how it all works, etc. But the short of it is that a couple years back, we fought over the stars of New Eden, and we captured 27 star systems for a bunch of refugees and gave it to them, and now they own it, and I'm not sorry. Is the million free for real? Absolutely, it's for real. Don't go today, don't go now. There's just 2 gateways in and out of Ikoria, so you might be camped now since it's where you said your clone is. Hold up. Actually, I just realized something. Hold on. Where's the map? System information. Right? I actually have a video not too long ago where I do some yeet exploration, where I use Pochvin to get home. Where is the regional map? There it is. Okay, no. So Ikoria is an internal Kryveles. So you could theoretically use a Kryveles filament, or you could use an internal filament. Chances are you should use a Kryveles filament because it'll land you in one of these 9 systems, and then you'll be able to navigate to Ikoria directly. Bring a blank clone. We're just going to go with shuttle or some other stupidly cheap, disposable, I don't care, it's probably going to die ship. And use that to get into Pochvin. At least until you understand how it all works. Yeah, so now you can actually swap clones in an NPC station without any timer, as long as you're in the same NPC station as them. So that's a huge one. Yes, Riley, they're refugees. They're refugees of an ancient war. Do you have a problem with that? Hater. Longer range and shorter range different for each and every tower launcher stuff was so helpful. Wait, hold on, what? How to become a fit master videos were the only ones where it's not where I didn't press the fast forward button a single time. Wow. Look, man, even I'm impressed with that. There's a lot of information. Anybody who tells me that they skipped through my fitting video or whatever, or fell asleep to it or whatever, zero offense to it. So if you sat through it and like let it like basked in it the whole way, man, oh man, I'm excited for you. Why does one go to Pochvin? Well, so Pochvin is basically like super wormhole. It's a bunch of wormhole systems that are connected by stargates. But there's also a special kind of filament called an extraction filament that will bring you to somewhere nearby where it physically was before. So for instance, I can, as I demonstrated in my other video, I can be in nullsec. I can use a filament to teleport me to nullsec randomly. Boom, I'm in nullsec. Now I can go around, I can do my hacking, whatever. If I run into problems, I can use another filament to jump to another region in nullsec, do whatever I want until I get all of the stuff I want, right? Okay, well now I need to get home. Great. Step 1. I pop a Kryveles filament, which drops me into Kryveles, which is again one of these up here. Now I live in Gallente space, so I want to navigate to Vale. So I jump in, I land somewhere, I navigate to Vale as carefully as I can, and then I sit in Vale until my timer's up, and then I use an extraction filament, and guess what? I jump out somewhere in Gallente space. One of the one of these systems. So either Tirjiv, Atlantigans, Darantol, I'm not going to try to pronounce them all. Bunch of French words, right? But of all of them, only one of them is low-sec Old Man Star, and all of them are Gallente. So even if I'm Galmil, I don't need to worry about it, as long as I jump out of Vale. There is good money opportunities there, but there's also standings opportunities. But as I pointed out, like, I can get from anywhere to Gallente space with 2 filaments in 15 minutes and a little bit of luck, right? Or here's a better one. If you use Quzxpon, you can get to Uranichi. Uranichi is like literally, if you jump out from Uranichi, you are within 2 or 3 jumps of Jita, period. Like there's perimeter right there. Like, imagine that. It doesn't matter where you are in nullsec. You can just be nearby Jita pretty much freely. Since Ikora is not a border, but rather an internal system, will I need to worry about standings to enter? No. You'll be able to move freely into and out of Ikoria, other than, you know, obviously hostile local wildlife. Also, there's some really good mining in Pochvin, if you're willing to get around to it. Sakenta is the best one for Jita. It can pop you out in Jita. I thought Uranichi was the one that was closest, because I used to call it when when Uranichi was turned into final liminality, I said that it shall henceforth be known as Content Pit. It will no longer be called Uranichi. That's its slave name. It is now the Content Pit. And man, has it lived up to its expectations. Sakenta. There you go. It jumps directly into Jita. That's hilarious. Maybe it was Sakenta. Maybe it was Sakenta after. Maybe it was Sakenta that became the Content Pitch. I mean, I could be wrong. Hey, thank you for that sub. All right, guys. I'm probably gonna need to wrap this up soon. Anyone flyer mind listening to Cowboy by Kid Rock in this game? I'm sure I have at one point. Thank you so much. You've certainly earned my sub, like, and bell. The guinea pigs, thank you. Hey, man. Hold on. I'm gonna drag him out. I'm gonna make him say hi to you. I'll be right back. Guys, here's my little boy. Oh, I've shown him before, but here we go. Yeesh. He's so cute. And he just sits there on my lap like this, and he nibbles on all of your guys' likes, comments, and subscribes, and it goes, good. It loves them. Thank you guys so much for all of your support and everything. It means the world to me and my family and a lot of other people in Eve. So yeah. On that note, yeah, it's getting pretty big. On that note, I've been Ash Rothy. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put even into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for checking out the stream, engaging, sharing it, liking it, support. The super chats, again, Sean and who's the other one? Sean and Jim, as well as LM1's gifted subs, or gifted memberships, a whole bunch of new subs today and other stuff. And there was another member today too. Mark. Yeah, you guys are awesome, man. All of you guys are awesome. And I do want to give an extra special thanks to my major supporters, Abyssus, Aikawarazu Chan, Arydanika the Queen, BlackRoseNoble, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, GuldanAgeStories, J. Kuhn, LM1, Malak Starfire, Midnight Space Monkey, Not Just Fun, Seats Aplenty, Serenolin with No Eyes, Syliana Vel'ash, Nephilim, Grendel, and Zaul Nex, as well as my immortal tier patrons at Ebo1337 and Rid. Thank you guys so much. Today, I want to give my special thanks and shout out to Malak Starfire. He's relatively new to the group, but man, he has been kicking butt. I hope I haven't given him a shout out already, but he has not only been like one of my go-to wingmen for last week. We've been building a pretty damn good team together, but he's also taken on the challenges of our industry program and has really jumped in with it with both feet and is helping not only make things better for him, but for everybody within the Alliance. He's the kind of guy that we need these days. So thank you so much for being part of the convocation, Malak. And if anybody else is interested in coming and helping out, we are recruiting both for the Mauro High Sec branch and for the Ader Low Sec Faction Warfare group. It is going to be close to the faction campaign, so it's worth getting invested, and we are here to help you maximize player engagement with EVE Online. So even if you don't want to join the Alliance, you can still join the Discord and flag yourself as being interested in things like if you flag yourself with YouTube, then you get all my YouTube videos when they go live or when I put up recordings, etc., etc. Blah, 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 blah. Check out my video game, Playton. You can get it for free. I'm sure there's other things too. And of course, thank you to Arydanika for all of your support. And hopefully we'll be getting out more edited videos out again soon when I'm not deliriously tired. Now I'm going to go probably try to take a nap before my son gets home. So without further ado, once again, I have been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden. And until next time, I'll see you in space.
Bring on the wrecking machine. For every city